Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Mike Brenner coming to you with the Brenner Blast review and sports picks video for Tuesday, November 14th. All right, guys, it was one of those rough nights, one I'd like to forget about, but a couple things that we could not control. I mean, Golden State, had I known that Seth Curry was going to be a late scratch, no, I wouldn't have picked it. When Durant sits, it's different. The chemistry between Thompson, Draymond Green, and Seth Curry was ongoing before Durant. Makes a big difference. Those are two picks I definitely would not have put out. Not using that as an excuse, but that's a factor that you cannot change. And another one, hell, Washington, they had that first half covered. Then you get a fluke. 3 seconds left. A guy makes a basket and gets fouled. +1 to lose the pick by a half of a point. So between a couple bad beats with them laying out Curry, you know what? It is what it is. We still, bottom line, we're ahead. We're 59-48 on top of that bookie after that rough 1-5 night. NFL, we got it done last night. We had one pick, Carolina on the first half as they manhandled the Miami Dolphins. Tommy T from the NC. Buddy, I apologize. I mean, I really felt it, but I didn't think they were going to whoop that ass like that. And Dolphins, they might have a coach on the hot seat now, guys, and they might have a lot of available positions on that team next year. That team is absolutely just looking terrible on a downward spiral. And then I got college basketball. We were 1-1 last night, so no damage done there. All right, guys, tonight we're going to get it back. NBA, it's bounce back night with Brenner, feeling up to the challenge. We got a college basketball, several picks there, and also we got a college football pick. So let's get into it. All right, again, bouncing back doesn't scare me. I love a challenge. I'm up for the challenge, but most importantly, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint, so there's absolutely no way that we can bow our heads and look down. I am going to scale back on the picks, know when to reel them things in, and that's what we're going to do. Stay tuned for some other things that we've got going on as well that has to do with the picks. All right, guys, the Spurs are at Dallas. The San Antonio Spurs are 8-5. They're finally starting to let things settle down. They're figuring it out without Ginobili, Parker, and Leonard. Well, tonight, Ginobili's going to be back, but I really think that you see a confidence now. Gasol, Aldridge really feeling it out. These guys are working well together. You got some other players stepping up, taking care of business, and you're going up against a Dallas squad that's 2-12. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. is everything to that team, and they're putting a lot of weight on the 19-year-old shoulder. You got point guard Devin Harris. He's dealing with these injuries, nagging injuries already into the season. He's going to be out tonight. He's dealing with some rib issues. And Nowitzki, well, the latest report is he's getting older and he's getting slower. So there's no more of these 35, 40-point nights from Nowitzki or anything like that. This team is in trouble. You got the Spurs going the other direction, and Coach Popovich said, this is bullshit. We're going to turn this thing around no matter who's on the injured list. So I like it. We're going to pull that trigger in one spot. We're going to take them on the full game. San Antonio Spurs -6. That's right. I like that direction, and I like Popovich saying they're finally getting, they're taking responsibility for their own stuff, is what he said. When that's, something that's an issue and then it's absolutely resolved, look out. Results follow. I like it. Spurs on the full game, -6 against Dallas. Then we got the Houston. I'm telling you, Houston Rockets are one of the most consistent cashing teams for me in the last 3 years. It's bar none. And it all has to do with this coach. That run and gun, it just really suits them well. When they brought Chris Paul aboard, they thought they could still run a little, but they could kind of guide that offense. Well, he got hurt. Nothing, never like to see anybody hurt, but it ended up, in hindsight, being a good thing for the team. They figured out they don't need to change that style. Their shooting percentage goes up. These guys are playing off the charts right now. They're 11-3. Covered another one for us. All right. They've been up by 10 or more early in every game the last 5. This team is going up against Toronto. All right. They lost to a banged-up Celtic team, and I know a lot of people have. Celtics have won, 12 in a row? But I think they're going to come down to earth soon if they don't get Irving back within a quickness. So Toronto, I'm not making an excuse for them, but they're going into Houston. Toronto's 2 up and down. DeRozan, he had a shitty shooting night. He was like 8 for 18 or 8 for 22, actually. So he was not on top of his game. They constantly are dealing with issues, but the biggest thing about Toronto is that Dwayne Casey's still Dwayne Casey, and this team is the same old Raptors. Bottom line, they can't hang with Houston. Pulling that trigger on the Houston Rockets on the first half, -3.5. I love that spot, and I love it for a bounce back. So that's the 2 bounce back picks for NBA. All right, again, scaling back on the picks. The first one, Spurs on the full game, -6. The second one, Houston Rockets on bounce back day for Brenner on the first half, -3.5. Let's jump into some college basketball. All right, guys, we got Purdue. They're going to play play at Marquette. Let's not forget, Purdue's ranked 17th or 19th in the country, depending on what you're looking at. This is the returning champion, the defending champions of the Big Ten. All right, I like it. They got 4 returning starters from that team, and they're really, really looking good in the 2 games so far. They put up a big bunch of big numbers, and when you got returning starters with championship caliber, you're going in to play Marquette that's really, really had some up and down seasons. I know they're coming off of a big win against Mount St. Mary's 80-59, but hell, it's Mount St. Mary's. They're getting ready to face a challenge. I like this. In one spot, we're pulling the trigger, and we're going to do it with Purdue on the full game, -4. Boilermakers going to get it done tonight. That ranking's not a fluke. Last year wasn't a fluke. When they grabbed that Big Ten championship, it was because of quality, and it was because of experience. Well, now you got a major part of that experience back. These guys work well together. They're very unselfish, and they don't turn the ball over a bunch. Check it out. Purdue cashing that full game ticket, -4. All right, then we're going to jump into the Memphis Tigers, baby. They're at home against Little Rock, Arkansas. I like this play. Memphis is off to an 0-1 start. They dropped their first game versus ranked Alabama. Alabama got a good team this year. You know, you got Avery Johnson having them boys ready to play. So Memphis, when they dropped that game, they knew they needed to throttle it back a little bit, take a look at some things. Well, I don't think there's any better cure than Little Rock. Oh, they're 0-1. They lost by 2 last week to Alchita Baptist. Alchita Baptist. If anybody can tell me even where the hell that's at, all right? I mean, I don't know what I'll give you, but by God, somebody tell me. Alchita Baptist. Well, Little Rock lost by 2 to them. So Memphis, they're just too talented. They got too many good recruiting tools, and they got too many youngsters on that bench that are loaded with talent to not get it done. This is a bounce back spot for Memphis, and I'm telling you, the spot is pulling that trigger on the first half. Memphis Tigers -7 or 7.5. Yeah, Little Rock, they lost to Alchita Baptist by 2. So I think Memphis Tigers, I mean, they're not long removed from being a top 25 team. This team should bring it tonight, and they should bring it with a quickness on that first half, -7.5. Then we're going to jump down to Alabama. That's right, Roll Tide Roll. They didn't get it done for us in college football, but Avery Johnson, I like the direction this team's going. I like that guy. I liked when he was a player. I liked when he coached the Spurs. Hell, that guy's just done nothing but win pretty much everywhere he goes. So with that being said, this team responds. They're 1-0. They beat Memphis 82-70. They came out and they just really, really were consistent. They had a lot of assists. They didn't have a lot of turnovers, and they weren't committing a lot of fouls. You're going up against Lipscomb. Lipscomb's 2-0, but they had wins over, hell, I can't even pronounce that first team. Anyway, I think this team, they barely escaped last week against Morehead State, their last game. So I think Alabama's going to have definitely the advantage here. Where I like it, it's in the first half, and you pull that trigger at home with Alabama because of the experience they have as well. They're returning a hell of a bunch of players. The first half is available -8. Lipscomb's not going to know what hit him. I think the double-digit lead at halftime is a must tonight for Alabama, rolling that Tide Roll, because they're ranked 25th in the country. They want to prove their worth, and Avery Johnson said there's something about this team. It's got a spirit that we have not had in recent years. So we're going to pull that trigger with Alabama. That's right, Roll Tide Roll on the first half, -8. Then, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a 3-team teaser in college basketball. We're not going to keep that record separate. We're going to count this in with a regular pick. All right, it just makes it easier for everybody involved on my end. 3 teams, it's going to be a 7-point teaser. I've already done the math. We're going to put all 3 teams together that we just spoke about. We're going to put Purdue. They'll be available +3. We're going to take Memphis. They'll be available -7.5. And Alabama will also be -7.5. That's after the 7-point adjustment. That's a 3-team, 7-point teaser in college basketball. And then we got a college football pick, and I like this tonight. Ohio is 8-2, going to play Akron. That's right, the Zips having a disappointing season at 5-5. They are 7-3 ATS, however, and that's to be respected. But Ohio, they're 8-2 ATS. They see what's happening, and they can smell victory in a bowl game coming up. I'm telling you, this team is ready. They're focused, and here's what I really like. Akron, they struggled against Toledo and Miami of Ohio. Not only struggled, they got their asses handed to them. They got pounded. All right, well, Ohio manhandled both of those teams recently, and they're on top of their game, and I think they're a little bit more healthier than Akron. I love this play. We're going to pull that trigger on the first half, -7 with Ohio. If you check it out, they start out very, very early in games like this in years past when they have an edge, and they're going into the bowl season, with an opportunity. So I like it. Akron Zips, they're disappointed in themselves, 5-5 record, nothing to brag home about. And again, they got pounded against two teams, that Ohio, who has just recently pounded themselves. So pull that trigger, first half -7 with Ohio Bobcats in college football. All right, guys, let's review everything because, I don't want to miss anything. It's just today, putting them all in one video as we're working on some other projects. NBA, we're going to be taking the Spurs, and we're going to be taking them with confidence on that full game -6. We're going to be taking the Houston Rockets on the first half, -3.5. And then we're going to jump down to college basketball. We're taking Purdue on the full game -4. We're taking Memphis on the first half -7.5. We're taking Bama on the first half -8. And we're wrapping up college basketball with a 3-team teaser with Bama, Memphis, and Purdue. And then to wrap it up, it's college football. Again, we're on the winning side last weekend. Let's keep it going. We've got tonight the first half -7 with Ohio. All right, guys, that's a lot of picks, but again, scaling down on most of those categories, and you'll see why, but everything is good to go. It's the ups and downs of the business. You've got to take the good with the bad. You got to remember it's a marathon. It is not a sprint, and most importantly, you got to stay focused, because if you don't stick to the plan, you're going to be down, you're going to be chasing, and that is not a good spot to be. All right, guys, let's have a great day, and let's remember going through the rest of this week, we got to pay it forward, spend that quality time with our families. We got holidays coming up, so happy holidays early to everybody out there, because it's right around the corner. My God, we'll be Turkey Day, throwing down some turkey, watching some college football. There's all kinds of action going on, so that's another reason you got to bet responsible, beat your bookie, and build that bank with Brenner. And don't forget, the Brenner Blast is coming to you, baby.